Good morning, peoples. Let me jump in here and give you the latest from Roundhill on XDTE, better known as the S&P 500, and QDTE, the NASDAQ 100. All right, so here's the key data that you really need to know. So they're declaring today on the 4th. So you must buy anytime today on the 4th. If you buy tomorrow, that's the ex-dividend date, 9/5, you will not get the dividend. If you buy or already own, let's see, if you already own or you buy on 9/4, Wednesday, you will receive for XDTE per share 31 cents, almost 0.312. It's 0.311931. What is the yield on that? That yield, again, we use this number here, right? What is the current price? Multiply it times 52 and divide, since it's paid weekly, divide by the price. It gives you an annualized yield of 31.54%. Now, how did XDTE, the S&P 500, do this week? So red or green. So last week we were been up 3 weeks in a row, so we broke that uptrend, right? So we're down 1.005. And I always use closing price of the day before the declaration. Obviously, that's what we know, right? So let's take a look at QDTE. So how does that rank? Maybe I should just tell you. So you can see that it's certainly more than last week, and then certainly lower than the week before, which was one of the highest yielding weeks, right? We had a 0.388 and a 0.387, right? And then the highest one was 0.412 that I see here. Let me go down through the list. Remember, yeah, this started paying on March 25th. The fund was launched on 3/15. And don't forget, we have RDTE, the Russell 2000, coming soon. All right, so there's our status on XDTE. Let's talk about QDTE, which is the NASDAQ 100. Well, it paid 32, almost 33 cents, 0.329389. Didn't get much closer to 33 cents for a higher yield, a 41.52 yield, because why? The stock price is cheaper. Look, both of these funds yielded around the same, right? Amount paid 31.1, 32.9, but because the underlying is cheaper for QDTE, the yield is higher. So that also went down 1.29 points. I don't give a percentage, I just subtract it, right? So last week it had gone down 0.6, and then it went 1.29. You can see here was a big decline, right? On 7/31, it had closed at 43.81, went down to 39.83. So again, these things move around, but pretty good yields, right? A 40% yield. Well, is that the whole picture? Not exactly, right? Why do I say that? Well, some of you guys know me, right? I talk about not ROI, I talk about total return. So let's go take a look at that. By the way, in case you want to know, this is the actual sheet, right? That came out around 6 a.m. So again, X date, tomorrow, Thursday, 9/5, pay date, Friday, 9/6. So you can see the 0.3329, almost 33 cents for they call it Innovation 100. Essentially, it's the NASDAQ 100. QDTE, okay? And then the S&P is known, or sorry, 0 DTE, really. It comes right down. They're all 0 DTE, but often this one gets referred to as XDTE versus QDTE, right? But they're both 0 days till expiration. They're writing daily and paying weekly. All right, let's come up and take a look at this. So this is more important. So we can see here, let me give you this. This is, should update this as of September the 3rd, right? All right. So we have them here. We have the inception date, and then we have an investment. Again, the investment really doesn't matter. It's just better to have some number in there, right? How much did you pay? Then I can tell you percentage-wise versus what you really invested, how much are you behind in a NAV, right? So how much is this paid since inception with the newest payment? Well, that would be $5.88, right? We go down here and we round 587.6, right? In math, anything 5 or above, you round up. And this guy would be 7.6 here. So let's go back to those. And there we have it, 7.6 and 5.88. So let's go through the math. So here's the current price, right? That's on my other sheet, the closing price from September the 3rd. And what is the gain or loss? Again, yours is going to be different. Plug in your number. But I used the closing price on the inception day. When did they launch the funds? They didn't pay until 325. So they had to have a couple weeks of collecting money so that they had a piggy bank or a treasury to pay you. So you've had a small NAV reduction. I don't even call it a loss. I call it a reduction. This one's had a bigger, right? So a little less than 2% and a little more than 11%. Okay? And that would shows you what that would look like if you invested if you invested 100,000, then this would be 11,000, right? So on 1,000 you've lost 11% or 111. Okay. So how about what kind of return is this producing, right? We know what the price was when you bought it. We know what the price is now. So we can come up with, is it gone up or down? But this, the dividend tells us, well, if we just look at XDT, the S&P 500, it's returned $5.88 on a 51,435 price, right? Let me make sure J and E correct on inception. That was assuming you bought it here. So you would have gotten an $11.20 return on your dividend. How about XDODT? Boy, I can't even get this right. How about the NASDAQ 100? How's that? QDTE. How about the NASDAQ 100? You would have gotten a bigger return because you got more money, $7.60. And you paid less at inception. So you got a 16% return, but that's not the whole picture, right? So let's annualize those numbers, and we get a 22.5% and a 33% yield. But we really need to take away, okay, these on an annualized basis. So that's what we're showing over here. So in my book, XDTE, the S&P 500, has a better total return. Again, I get it. If you guys are collecting the money and you put it in something else and you're earning money on it or you're making money, sometimes your argument is it's nice to have $7.60 along the way, nicer than having 588. I don't disagree completely, right? It's almost like you could do a compounded return, annualized return. But this just simply lays it out. It says, how much did I lose on my investment? How much did I make in yield? Let me annualize them and let me subtract them. So there is some sense that the S&P is spread broader. It makes a little sense. When the NASDAQ and the Mag 7, which is really the majority of the NASDAQ 100, um, that's when well, the Mag 7 is all over the place, right? It's in the S&P 500, it's in the NASDAQ 100. But anyway, it's a large component of both of these, but certainly a larger component of something that only has 100 items versus 500 items. Okay, guys, that's what I got for you. So that is Roundhill. That is the newest distribution. I know a lot of you are liking that. A lot of you are looking at some of their single stocks that they're looking to come out with. I think we all have eyes on this for the future. But remember, it's probably not till November when these guys get launched, right? And what are they on? Apple, AMD, Amazon, Coin, Google, Meta, Microsoft, MSTR, NVIDIA, Tesla. I think you recognize all those names from YieldMax. So you could have a weekly pair over here. Okay, guys, this is Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Have a great day ahead. Bye for now.